conflict between Russia and Ukraine does not involve us directly. However, the Philippine economy will likely be collateral damage. It is as if we are hit by a ricocheting bullet.
We are proposing 14 measures to alleviate the impact of the crisis on the people. Notably, yung pagtaas ng presyo ng pagkain, kuryente, gasolina at diesel.
Carl, I'd like to know if we could come up immediately with the enabling law the recommendation.
Mr. President, in terms of the subsidies, we have it already in the budget, so we will implement it immediately. In terms of the tariff reduction po, since Congress is not in session, we will submit a request for the issuance of an executive order. And there are dalawa lang po na kailangan ng batas. We will prepare it immediately so that Congress can consider it immediately when they return in May for session.
We have a long haul sa walang trabaho. Days that Congress is not functioning. I wonder if we can have that the laws that you want to be enacted to support your recommendation.
Mr. President, if the situation escalates, we could recommend a special session.
Mas mabuti pa, okay? Pag-isipan na lang natin yan.
The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Presidential candidate and Senator Manny Pacquiao will be campaigning in Pampanga, where he's expected to meet various sectoral groups and some local officials. Joining us live from Porac in Pampanga is Mon Gualvez to give us more details on this. Good morning again, Mon. Has the senator arrived in Pampanga yet?
Good morning, Charles. So far, we are still waiting for presidential aspirant and Senator Manny Pacquiao as he is set to visit here in Porac, Pampanga, wherein he continues his campaign trail in Central Luzon. Charles.
Right, Mon, what is first on the agenda for Senator Pacquiao once he arrives?
Well, the presidential candidate of PROMD is set to meet the ITAs here in the area to learn about the community's concerns and even their needs. Pacquiao insists that indigenous people or IPs cannot be left behind. He's also set to plant dwarf coconut trees as an ode to environmental protection and as a safeguard for future climate hazards or other needs. Charles.
Right, Mon, I understand Pacquiao is also set to meet with some local officials. Could you tell us more about this?
Yes, despite Senator Manny Pacquiao has fewer endorsements from local government officials compared to his other fellow candidates, he always makes sure to do some courtesy visit to the leaders in any area or LGU he goes to, may they endorse him or not. Moreover, the PROMD presidential candidate insists that what he needs at the end of the day is endorsement from people on the ground. Charles.
Right, Mon, do we know who else from Pacquiao's slate will be joining him today in Pampanga?
Well, based on the initial schedule given to us by Team Pacquiao, he will be joined by one of his senatorial candidates, which is former Eastern Samar Governor Lutgardo Barbo. And we haven't received any information yet if there will be a representative now from Congressman Lito Atienza, who will campaign his vice presidency as Senator Pacquiao's running mate in this election, Charles.
Right, Mon, I understand you guys are currently in Porac, Pampanga. What does Pacquiao's schedule look like for the rest of the day?
All right, after his visit here in Porac, Pampanga, he is actually set to make rounds also of other parts of Pampanga, including San Fernando and Candaba, wherein he is set to speak with some farmers and tricycle drivers before heading to Tarlac. Charles.
Thanks for that, Mon. That was Mon Gualvez reporting live from Pampanga. Vice President Leni Robredo reiterates her campaign team did not pay attendees to join political rallies. Robredo made this statement during the Candida Talks Forum organized by the Go Negosyo and Signal via One News and 1PH. VP Lenny said this after Representative Boying Rimulya accused her camp of paying 500 pesos to attendees of their grand rally in Cavite.
Unang-una, wala din kaming pambayad at hindi namin yung gagawin. Kasi kung magbabayad kami na mag-a-attend, sino niloloko namin? Insulto sa mga province mates. Nandun ako, nakita ko yung tao, yung energy level ng tao from start to finish. Pagbayad yata, hindi yun ganun. Papunta doon, nakita ko ang daming naglalakad. Punong-puno na yung grounds, ang dami naglalakad papunta doon. Yung mga suot ng mga tao, iba-ibang shade ng pink, iba-ibang klase ng t-shirt, kanya-kanyang gawa ng mga campaign paraphernalia. Nalulungkot ako na magre-resort sa ganito, na hindi pinapahalagahan yung dignidad ng mga taga-Cavite. Ito, kung may pruweba, di ilabas yung pruweba, pero wag naman yung basta mag-a-accuse.
In other news, the Energy Department says the astronomical increase in fuel prices is due to the shortage in supply in the global market. In an interview with The Big Story, Energy Undersecretary Gerardo Erguiza Jr. said that the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, is having trouble producing more barrels of oil, and that this is exacerbated by the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. He added that the country has no direct problems with the ongoing war, but that our suppliers are affected since they import oil directly from Russia.
The OPEC promised to produce about 400,000 more, but it's only producing 10,000 barrels a day. As you all know, has worsened because of the Russian-Ukraine problem. With respect to the Philippines, we don't have any direct problem with this war because the Philippines has no supply contract with Russia.
President Rodrigo Duterte has signed a law raising the age of sexual consent from 12 to 16. Jenny Dongon has the details.
Up until this point, the Philippines has one of the lowest minimum age for sexual consent. With minimum age set at 12 years old, the country is just next to Nigeria's 11 years old. Family attorney Virginia Suarez says the previous law was filled with loopholes.
Pag 12 na hanggang pataas at nagkaroon ng sexual intercourse, pumayag yung bata, ano yun, yung tinatawag natin na seduction. So parang ang ibig sabihin walang rape.
But that's about to change. President Rodrigo Duterte has signed into law a bill that raises the minimum age of sexual consent to 16 years old. The move is meant to shield minors, regardless of gender, from rape and sexual abuse. After all, based on 2015 UNICEF study, 7 out of 10 rape victims in the Philippines are minors.
Sa kasalukuyang batas natin, ang age of sexual consent ay 12 pataas. Kaya nga kapag pababa, pag less than 12 yung bata, statutory rape ang tawag natin ibig sabihin nun mas mabigat ang parusa.
But the law also has exemptions. There will be no criminal liability if the age difference between the adult and the minor is 3 years or less, and there's proof that sex was consensual and that it was neither abusive nor exploitative. The rule does not apply if the minor is below 13 years old. Child and women's advocacy groups hail the new law's passage, but they want to know how this will be implemented.
Ayaw namin maging tokenism lang yung mangyayari. Karanasan namin with the different laws, 37 laws and resolutions na protecting women's rights ang naipasa dito sa bansang ito, ang implementation ay napakababa.
For News 5, Jenny Dongon, we are One News.
Transportation Secretary Art Tugade will lead the inspection of the Metro Manila subway project this morning as the government targets partial operability by this year. Tugade will be visiting the subway's depot located in Valenzuela City. He's also scheduled to head to the stockyard for the tunnel boring machines in Quezon City and the construction site at the North Avenue station. The 357 billion peso project will span a total of 36 kilometers from Valenzuela to Naiya and is targeted to be fully operational by 2027. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 11 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.